Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Pownell Special Select Board meeting, March 30th, 2023 at 6:01 PM. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Board member roll call.
Angie Rowling.
Jamie Percy.
Bob Jarvis.
Brian Harris.
Mike Gardner. Approval of the agenda, public comment, executive for contractual, initial meeting and discussion with the newly elected constable, public comment, and adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions to the agenda, corrections? All those in favor?
Angie, I.
Jamie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. I'd like to open up public comment. Hannah, if there's anyone?
No hands up.
Okay,
Sarah has a public comment.
so I'd like to make a statement and I apologize for reading. Sometimes it's hard for me to gather my thoughts without reading, so it's just easier this way. The discussion in the last meeting regarding my personal action of being the one to look at public information on Julie's desk and in the town office and in the open safe left many questions unanswered. Leaving these questions unanswered has put me in a really difficult spot, and I'm aware now that there are false and exaggerating stories about these actions being inappropriate or even illegal. So I feel the need to address it tonight in hopes of preventing further misinformation being spread. Therefore, I'd like to start by saying, without a doubt, what I did was not illegal. I was directed by the select board to look at Julie's daybook in an attempt to find other documents, etc., that were to be recorded. I also listened to voicemails, which are property of the town, and viewed the voter checklist. All of the items I viewed are in a public space and are public records. That, however, isn't the real point here. In hindsight, if I could turn back time, I would ask the select board to take that action themselves or wait until Julie was present and ask her where she is at with the recordings. Julie and I have talked personally about this situation numerous times now. And although I have confidence that she and I will be able to continue to work together positively, I do wish I hadn't been the one to actually investigate the state of the town recordings just because of the outcome. Over the past year, myself and the other town office staff have worked really hard to create a safe and trustworthy space with each other. The culture and the environment has changed for the better and is noticeable in many levels of our town government. Teamwork has been essential in these changes, and as not one of the town employees, elected or appointed, can do their jobs alone. Not handling this recent situation definitively, the select board has inadvertently created another conflict for us to resolve. And this gives the community the idea that there is inter-office drama and discord. Town staff, including myself, were directed to handle the situation a certain way by our supervisors. But when it came right down to it, the public was led to believe I and other town staff made this decision and carried out this action on our own accord, when the only thing that happened was I did my job. I was left feeling very disappointed and unsupported when it wasn't made clear that any actions taken around this matter were done at the direction of the select board alone. Even viewers of the meeting could tell I was visibly upset while the board hemmed and hawed about getting legal advice regarding the legality of looking at public records left out in the open where anyone can view them. One thing I want the select board and the public to really understand is that the town staff is often left the face of an issue that is happening because we are the ones who are tasked with doing the work of researching, investigating, and communicating. In order for us to be able to continue doing our jobs, we need it to be made abundantly clear that we do nothing without the direction from the select board and legal counsel. I want to express that I was most upset in the meeting because I do care what our community thinks of me. I do not want anyone to believe that I'm dishonest, untrustworthy, or vindictive. I may be hired by the select board, but I took this job to serve our community in a positive way. After last week's meeting, there's been a lot of talk in regards to me specifically, and my personal life and reputation have been affected. I want to assure everyone that although I am extremely frustrated, I will not quit, and I will continue to work with the board and the other town staff to make sure we continue to strive towards a better Pownell. Thank you.
Bob, do you have anything?
Yeah, so I just want to say, first of all, thank you, Tara, for that statement. And I personally apologize on behalf of the board that you were placed in that position by us. And that's a fact. None of our staff does anything on their own. We, the board, direct the staff to take actions, and they take the actions that we ask of them. And I just want to, I agree with every word that Tara just read.
Thank
That is all absolutely true. And I would ask the town that if they have problems with how that's playing out, that they make their complaints to and about the board, us, not our town staff. That we've had enough of that in the past.
Any other board members?
Absolutely. I concur with Bob, and I'm sorry that you were left feeling that way. We did make a statement at the end of the meeting stating that it was under the orders of the select board. And everybody obviously didn't take that or hear that. Because that's not the goal. I mean, we thrived, this board has thrived to take and try to move our town office forward, our government forward, and change the perception down here. And you two have been doing an awesome job, as well as the other staff that work in this building, with doing that. And I hope you can continue.
Definitely.
I would also like to say that I'm sorry. And I didn't realize that we were putting you in such a bad situation because you were looking at public records. You did not do anything wrong. I just want to say I'm really sorry, and I think that you are doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
I would like to also apologize to Tara. Like Angie and the rest of them have just said, our intention was not to place you in a position to make you uncomfortable.
I know.
We were asking you to perform your job with all legal authority, and you were directed at the behest of the select board to do it. So for the inconvenience and the trouble it's caused, I apologize.
Thank you.
I'm gonna apologize, Tara, to you and Hannah, mostly to you in this situation. You're absolutely correct in everything that you've said. I want to clarify one thing. The reason that I asked for to clarify whether it was legal or not is because I wanted our lawyer to tell us what we already know and what we knew, that it was 100% legal, everything that had gotten done. I should have asked for that in a much better way, and I should have presented that in that form. I will promise you this going forward. I am the chair of the select board for this year, unless I'm removed for whatever reason. Don't plan on that, but that's just the way it is. But being the chair, I am only one vote on this board. This is a board of 5 of us. But I will promise you and Hannah and the rest of the staff and the rest of my fellow board members that I will do the best of my own ability to become a much better leader in situations like that. I will strive, and I hope you come to me if this board puts you in that position again or a similar position. I hope that you have enough confidence in me that you can come to me as the board chair and say, I'm not comfortable doing this. I will respect that opinion wholeheartedly from anybody, whether it's you, whether it's Hannah, whether it's anybody else that works in this building, or out on the street as our road crew or wastewater or whatever. And actually what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna put a memo together. I might even ask you to help me do that, to get out to everyone else, all of our town staff, from me as the board chair. Again, I apologize. Please come to me. I did not handle that the greatest last week. Looking back, hindsight is always 20/20. But like I said, I will strive to do my best to change that moving forward.
I just want to say, like, I wasn't trying to bash. I'm not trying to.
You should bash
I
us.
think this is a good way to learn how to move forward in a positive way, and we all can, and work better, work towards a better, like I said.
In my opinion, yes, the way that this board handled it, we were wrong, in my opinion. One vote again. But honestly, I'm really extremely happy that you've brought this to our attention on how you feel, rather than let it fester and manifest for however long. So, and I'm extremely proud that you did that. So, I'm gonna leave it at that
Okay.
from my standpoint. Yes, sir, Bob.
I just want to, I do also want to make sure that the town who's listening to this doesn't misinterpret some of this. In no way, let me start again. The board had very good reason to want to view and we had the actions taken, the way we rolled them out was what the issue was. But we had good reason to believe that the town was at risk and we were trying to fulfill our duty and our responsibility to the town to mitigate that risk. That risk is real. But maybe we should have done it ourselves, or maybe we should have been clearer as to how we were doing this. We could have investigated the records in a different way, but they had to be investigated.
Yeah.
Any more public comment, Hannah? Any other board members have anything?
No hands are up.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive for contractual.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Still let us. Everyone's back in, Hannah.
Yep. They're on the way, I guess.
I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Which brings us to our initial meeting and discussion with our newly elected constable, Eddie Pascucci, right?
Yes, sir. You got it.
So first, congratulations
Thank you.
officially from the board, or from me. So go ahead. You can start out.
Start up?
Yeah.
Start. First, thank you guys for having me today, having a meeting for some more time. I saw the last meeting agenda. We tried coordinating, was getting a little bogged down. Definitely more times better. Over the years, it's been disheartening seeing a lack of names on the ballot. So I hope I could bring a lot to the table. Hope we could bring it back to some past programs we've had similarly and give a lot to the taxpayers and people around town. I brought with me a list of licenses, certifications. I think Tara already made a number of copies here. I have some past experience. Right now, I'm managing a security program in healthcare. Before that, I had 2 years doing service in the courthouse in Windham County as a court officer there. Before that, private security time. So I'd like to work with you guys and try to get our local constable role back up to par. And I think years ago, we had a lot more opportunities and a lot more, we utilized it a lot more than we have in the past years. So I don't know what thoughts you guys had. I know a lot of opinions were expressed during town meeting. I know we've been playing with a lot of ballot articles here to take it in different directions. So I'm excited to get started and try to make best use of it as possible.
Any board members have anything?
So what is your type of credentials are, you gave us work experience, but what's your credentials?
Credentials?
Certification.
I have an armed security license currently. I'm a notary, so I can serve paperwork civilly, criminally. I've done that through the court. Training in de-escalation. I'm a instructor for workplace violence prevention. We took on a suicide sensitivity training here through our healthcare security program, sensitivity training to suicidal patients, de-escalation, more de-escalation tools, CPR, first aid, AED, and some fire department trainings. I'm not certified by the Vermont Criminal Justice Training Council right now, excuse me. But we had some ideas on moving in that direction.
I know we've been investigating. When I say we, I don't mean me. I mean, at our direction, though, I have been investigating what it is that what we can and can't do, the costs, and all kinds of things in order to make this, in order to understand what our options are for law enforcement going forward. I speaking for myself, I personally, if we can make it work financially, am excited about the idea of having more local control and somebody locally, local enforcement. Other than that, I can't really speak to what next steps are, or whether or not it's financially feasible, or those kinds of things. But those are the things that we're looking into. Do we have any update on where we are with any of that?
I think basically we had said we would use ARPA money to set it up if it was an appointed position, but you guys did not discuss what you would, what you might decide to do if it stayed elected. And Eddie does not have any of the training, that sort of makes him, the full.
Right, the prerequisites.
Right, to have full enforcement duties. He can do the civil duties, he can ticket people, he can transport.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Can do things like dispatch animals, he can help the health officer in his duties, he can help the ACO in his duties, but not actual law enforcement like those, making arrests and those type of things.
Right, thank you. Right now, yeah, I indicated before, I can perform all the duties in the Vermont statute for constables right now. I think a good next step would be expanding to law enforcement duties. I think in the ballot, the turnout for law enforcement powers definitely indicated, I think we all want to move that way for sure. I know I've had some discussions with the state on opportunities. They have too, to help further some in that way too.
So, one of the things that I've thought about, since the March election, one of the things that I'd like to see, your position utilized in is, and I believe we can do this, we'll just check into it. But I'd like to see when personally, I've been tasked with the solid waste violations and zoning violations, being the zoning administrator, the animal control officer, if he goes and writes violations. We've already invested in a couple of body cameras. I'd like to see you as that second person along with me or Fred or whoever, Leonard, at the time. If we're gonna go write a violation, any one of the three of us or whoever, I definitely would like to see the constable along. And it sounds like you're good with that anyway, because you're a notary, so you can already serve those violations and that kind of thing by statute. Just one of the things that I've thought about, have you contacted anyone? First off, do you have the aspirations, and I'm sure you do, but I just want to make sure, the aspiration to obtain the law enforcement part of it, and the training. So
Yes.
I've heard that, but I wanted to hear it out of your mouth.
Yeah, no.
And I want everybody else to hear it.
And I appreciate that too. I know a lot of things get lost at different levels.
That's right. Have you reached out to anybody and do you have any plans in place for that?
The state police offered some programs that would lead to part-time certifications that wouldn't entail a full-time commitment from them. I know a big question up in the air too with this role is how much time, are we dedicating to it? I think of past times, I think when we had like Al doing it, it was like a part-time basis type role, I am currently full-time employed and, trying to get my head around, how that would work logistically. And, I'm sure we all are right now. So yeah, I know, the state did have some, opportunities for that.
Again, I've heard that. I just wanted to,
Yes, yeah.
have it out there. So.
That's kind of what I was thinking. It'd be more of a part-time position in
Well,
the
I think,
same
I think,
time
right.
where you're, as far as the code enforcement stuff.
Right, we have a certain budget set up for it, so we have to try to stay within those budget parameters. I think as far as writing violations from, the health officer, zoning administrator, me is that, Leonard, any of our violations, when we go write those violations, I think that certainly can be worked around your full-time job. If you work 7 to 4, I don't see a reason why we can't go at 5 o'clock or whatever. We can come to an agreeable time between whoever and yourself.
Yeah, because most of the time Fred and Leonard are doing theirs in the evening anyway.
We certainly can make that work. I don't see where anybody's gonna say, okay, we're gonna go do this at 1 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon and you're working, and I don't see that as being a feasible.
Right. I mean, on occasion, I can move things around and I try to.
I'm sure.
More than available.
Sometimes you might have an extenuating circumstance. I get you. And sure, that's great to know that you're willing to work with whoever, if that were the case.
Definitely.
I think, before we get too far ahead, like you said, you have to stay in budget, and there is no constable budget currently.
Correct.
Or for the next fiscal year. So we have to make sure we are really clear about roles and responsibilities.
Yes.
The amount of hours.
Yes.
And then the rate of pay, so that we can be really clear. And
Then we have to figure out where the money's
What
gonna
I
come from.
need, yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So those are the three main.
Because as of right now,
That's a great point, Tara.
we put in place basically to take care of certified letters from the town. Am I not correct on that?
I don't think we have anything in place, to be honest with you, other than what the statute has
Right.
in place for a constable, whether they are or are not law enforcement certified. As far as from my standpoint on the board, I don't ever remember doing anything about that.
Yes, and our previous constable, you all made the decision that he did not have law enforcement duties.
That's true.
That's where I was going.
Because that is your decision to make as a select board. So again, it's your decision to make for Eddie as well, whether you want him to do that stuff or not, and then the other questions come into play.
Is that the question you were asking, Jamie? Because if it is,
That's where I was trying to remember.
Okay,
I know there were specifics that we broke down
I misunderstood your question then. Sorry.
because of the lack of the training required.
Which, in my opinion, we'd have to stay with that right now because he doesn't have the training, anyway. I think right now,
But he could definitely help with code enforcement, writing tickets.
Yeah.
that's right, because he has the certifications to do that and the qualifications.
Which has been one of the ideas we talked
Qualifications.
about as a code enforcement officer.
Right, he has those qualifications to at least assist Leonard or Fred or myself in going out and writing
Yeah.
tickets.
Should get you a copy of the ordinances.
Plus, I think it's, it's definitely a safer situation to start with for whoever's going out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's always better to go as a team.
That's right, so.
I've been stressing that since I got on the board just
Right.
because the world has changed.
I think as a board, I think we should, until things change, I think we should continue to, not have our constable, perform law enforcement duties. I don't know if we have to have a motion on that.
I don't think so, because I think
doesn't-
we'd have to have a motion if we wanted him to do law enforcement.
Okay.
I think so.
I just want to make, I agree. Just want to make sure.
I think we need to work on a work agreement and what we expect of him and how many hours and then
The pay
the
and
pay and all that stuff and then.
we need to figure out where it's gonna come from.
Right, yes, exactly.
And then if you do decide you want him to take training, are we paying for the training? Are we paying for his training hours? All of those things.
Figure out how much VLCT might pay for some of that training,
Yep. Did they happen to say how
Any
much the
grants?
training was? Did they-
federal and state level grants.
Covered statewide.
It's covered statewide. Well, that's a bonus.
So this is definitely gonna have to be something we ease into, that we make sure we're legit on this.
And I've been pretty much telling, I have been to be
Yeah, I
honest with him about.
We're all open to it, not, like, we're not trying to like.
Just getting started.
Oh, I understand. This was my expectation. I understand this role over years. I mean, being local, know where it's stood, so.
The kind of crappy part is it being elected, like next year you might be like, it's not for me, then it's just like, well, thanks.
I will say, yeah, and a number of, supporters who are encouraging me to go through this have asked me, oh, hey, does that mean you can come here, do X, Y, Z? Like, no, I can't yet. I appreciate, the desire and the enthusiasm. I share it,
Actually got a
I
call
appreciate
from
we're not
someone
there
that was
yet.
like, well, if we're paying taxpayer dollars for that constable, like I should be able to
Did
call
you?
him. And I'm like, well, we're not actually paying taxpayer dollars yet, so.
Right.
I think our first order of business is, like you said, Angie, is to drop a work agreement and get that in place. With all of the above, what we expect of you right now. And certainly it'll be a work in progress. So I think probably the best thing to do would be to draw a work agreement up. Maybe, maybe send it to Eddie and, let him read through it.
Right.
Rather than come back here 6 or 8 times.
Yep.
Let him read through a work agreement.
And the lawyers and all that first. before
Right.
I can send it to 'em.
That's right.
Yeah, make sure they have the right legal language.
And then he can edit
Yep.
from his
If
standpoint.
there's anything he's not comfortable doing or
Yep.
any ideas he has for additional duties that maybe we didn't think of, that would be appropriate.
Maybe we can get that in place, for the meeting on the 13th.
Yep.
Because that's our next regular meeting is the 13th. Okay, that
Too
sounds,
much for you,
Sounds great.
No, it's okay.
because you're gonna be out.
Yeah, but I can.
Oh, I forgot she's gonna be out.
She's gonna be out.
that's right.
It's all right. I can.
You sure?
Okay.
Because we can put,
That's not too.
You can work from home on the computer.
because we can do a meeting the 20th.
We'll tentatively plan for the 20th or the
13th.
13th, but I'll be in
Yes.
touch.
Well, sure.
Okay. Okay.
Should we,
Did you-
would it be too early to
Yeah.
try to work on a list of possible equipment he may need?
No, not really.
No.
You're coming up with roles.
Cause I mean, we already have some body cameras, like I'm thinking like, should we get an additional body camera?
Yeah.
I don't know if like radios, something like that.
Or a cell phone. Yeah.
Yeah, a cell
We need to
phone.
decide, do we want to have a town phone and those things
Yeah,
too.
an official
address,
email,
Yeah.
extension, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the email's an easy thing.
Right.
Yeah, I can actually do that myself.
Yeah. So we should probably have that for you. Well, excuse me, and that's a good idea, Brian.
Yeah.
Come up with a list of wants and needs. And
Some
then
kind
we'll,
of badge or something that's.
then we'll cut it right in half and, no, I'm kidding.
No, with his picture on it. and that he's-
Some kind of a
Like a
town ID.
ID.
Like, yeah, so people know who he is.
Actually, that might not be a bad idea for.
Everybody. We really should probably look into that, especially with nowadays.
I know at the state level, with state badges with
Yeah,
faces.
so you have their faces and their name and their,
Yeah. Picture.
I almost think that that's probably something that Leonard and,
Yeah.
the health
Right.
officer
Really good
should have,
suggestion.
even you, when you're
then
going to a
Yeah, you should
property.
definitely have one. I mean, the state sends out the health officer card, but
It's
it's
just
a
a card.
non-picture, it's just a card.
Anybody could have that card.
Yeah.
I still have mine hanging on my,
Yeah, I still have mine from when I did it.
yeah.
so we should have that.
There's a
Yeah, like
frame.
on a lanyard or a pin.
There's the one that frames them.
I'll look
I
into
didn't
that.
frame it, it's just hanging there. So I knew where it was. when I
She looks at it every time she comes in and out of the house. Look at me.
No. It's in
Now, if
Shelby's
he's gonna
room.
be off, if we're gonna let him continue to authorize to dispatch animals, does that mean we have to provide a firearm? A town issued firearm?
I don't know. I can
I'll
check
have to
that.
look into that.
And if we go down that road, then we need to make sure we're covered as far as proper storage, maintenance, training, all that good stuff.
Right.
It's all stuff we'll have to cross going down the road though.
Yep.
Just food for thought.
Good point.
Because obviously if he decides not to run again, we'll have a firearm. We need to store it somewhere.
There's 2 levels of training he has to do to carry that as legally in the constable position. VSB.
So if he were to dispatch animals, it would likely be with his own weapon? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm just,
We should look into.
crossing a legal,
that, yeah.
it's a legal liability that I'm not talking about.
Last I knew that if your resident calls up to say they hit an animal and a game warden can't get there, they can authorize the resident to dispatch the animal on the side of the road.
Well, I didn't know
interesting.
about Leonard either, but
I don't know.
if he already has that ability, I'm not sure.
I don't believe that Leonard can do that because he's not a humane officer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I say I don't know,
Right, yeah.
but I'm just,
Yeah.
we gotta cover the liability side of
An
it.
animal control officer in order to dispatch animals, or is the constable granted special separate authority on
I
that?
believe it's,
Constable is.
By statute.
It is in
Yeah.
the statute.
It's in the statute because I
think it's separate.
remember a horse on 7 that they had to put down before the constable. It was awful.
But anyway, those are just some thoughts that I had while sitting here.
how did you sign the election agreement as far as, we drew it up?
Oh, the behavior thing,
Yes.
like you won't harass, all that good stuff.
You-
I don't think.
I've signed that.
No, he hasn't.
That's probably something we'll have to do like with the.
Work agreement, yeah.
Because the work agreement will state that you're willing to abide by the same policies as the rest of us. And I'll
Thank
provide
you.
you with a copy of the policies and that.
Anybody else got any other thoughts?
Not right now.
Trying to think of as much as I can.
Right.
One thing we've given,
I think we got enough on Tara's list with everything else.
Tara's got some homework and Eddie's got some
Plenty of free
homework.
time.
I've done some looking into it, and I know there's some good resources on the League of Cities and Towns as well. I've followed a lot of their research into it. They've taken a big deep dive and some duties, prerequisites to get in order before fulfilling each part.
Right.
I could send over a lot of that stuff I've taken a look at and get over to you guys to look through too, if that's helpful.
Anybody have any more questions? Go ahead.
So the statutory, are we putting even the statutory duties on hold till we can put together a
Work
work agreement on tentatively the 13th? Is the plan then to,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I think that's our best course of action.
right.
Not that we want to hold you back, but
Well, I understand. No, we want to do it right.
Yeah, we want to make sure we don't get in a situation where a resident can sue us because we're not
Or you.
We're not properly
Yeah,
trained.
right. This cowboy out, I get it, yeah.
not that that's what we think of you. It's just,
No,
I just want to make sure, because it
Cross our
may or
Ts,
may
dot
not have
our Is.
happened in the past with people going rogue.
I understand and I totally appreciate that.
cross our Ts and dot our Is for all parties involved.
Absolutely.
All saying you.
CYA.
I do like the idea of the official IDs for the
I
employees.
do too.
I can't believe we've never thought of that.
I can't either.
Chalk one up for Angie.
Good job, Angie.
Somebody did
Took you long
suggest
enough.
that we have a card we could, like, when we come in to swipe.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys don't have like controlled access.
I never thought of IDs though, just, yeah.
I think didn't we ask about that when we were discussing the security door locks and it was gonna be like drastically more money? So we decided, we'll just go with a key and a regular.
Right, but then when we were discussing that, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me, like, oh, we could have cool
Silver
IDs though.
Right?
ID scanners, you can get those made of staples.
Yeah.
Well, that, I think.
Definitely.
there's just
No,
a
just
little
as, like,
thing that you could actually-
not everybody watches our
When you got the
meetings.
picture on
You
file.
might not know who he is or even who Mike
That's what they
is.
do at work.
Right.
And when you walk up to somebody's house, I mean, nowadays you really should
Yeah,
have.
especially with no ID, like we don't have any type of official coat or anything you guys have to wear,
I
like,
mean, people walk into stores and say, hey, I'm here to do this and do that. I need to see an ID
yeah.
because,
We're here to inspect your freezer in the back room.
Right.
Official beer inspector.
It happens. People pretend to be people that they're not, to do things. Yeah.
So true.
It's really, yeah.
I'm good. I think
I think we've tasked
Good?
Tara with
I'm
a,
good, yeah.
we're giving them both some tasks
Yeah.
to do.
if anybody thinks of anything else, I would say what are the ideas on?
I think we can probably get him an email right away, or,
That way we can,
as soon as, take a couple minutes, take a deep breath, give him an email.
we can't always reply to you all if you send it to us, but we can reply one at a
Tara
time.
explained a lot of that to me, right?
But, I mean,
And just be aware that any email you send is public record.
Unless you mark it confidential.
Well, even then, depending on the contents of it.
correct.
Just keep in mind, anything you say in an email may end up in public record.
Or text message or anything like that, once you have a town
So
phone.
just be wary of confidential information.
We had, I don't know if we still have one, we had a cell phone that,
We might have an extra in there if I can get into it. I know I gave Hannah, I can't remember. I gave Fred back his and I gave Hannah one.
I feel like you gave me the last one, but I don't.
Yeah, I might have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had discussed that the last one got handed out.
Yeah, but I can look into it. It's not a big deal.
right,
Okay. Sounds good to me.
good. I think we're in good shape. I think at least we have a path forward,
Yep.
a direction.
Right.
We'll have this ironed out by next reelection.
Getting here for 2 years.
Maybe we should see about, can we change that to change it to a 2-year elected position?
It is 2
It
years.
is.
Yeah.
Or 3 or 4, like a longer term?
Yeah, sure.
Not trying to rope them in longer or anything.
Yeah, automatic renewal. Good. I think we're in good shape then.
Okay.
If there's nothing else, I'll go into public comment.
Not seeing any hands.
No hands, Hannah?
Oh,
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Night, Bob.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, Bob.
Thanks a lot, Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Night, Bob.
Thank you, Ed. It was
Good night.
nice to